It was 2 a.m. when Arnold walked back into the arena. The celebration had ended hours ago. The crowd had gone home. The other competitors had left. The promoters had packed up. The media had filed their stories. But Arnold couldn't sleep. He had won again. Another victory. Another championship. Another moment of standing on top of the world while thousands of people cheered. And yet, something inside him was restless. So he came back. The arena was dark except for the emergency lighting. The stands were completely empty. The stage where he had stood just hours ago, flexing, posing, being celebrated, was silent now. Arnold walked through the empty corridors. His footsteps echoed. The arena felt different in silence. Smaller, less important, just a building. He climbed into the stands and sat down in one of the seats. The seat where someone had been watching him hours ago. The seat where a stranger had cheered for him. The seat that had been part of the roar, the applause, the validation. Now it was empty. That's when Arnold heard the sound of a broom. He looked down, and there was an old man sweeping the arena floor. Gray hair, weathered face, moving slowly but deliberately, cleaning up the debris from the event. The man was in his 60s or 70s. He was alone, just him and his broom in an empty arena in the middle of the night. The old man looked up and saw Arnold sitting in the stands. He paused, set down his broom, and smiled. "Mr. Schwarzenegger," the old man said. His accent was thick, Eastern European. "I thought you would be celebrating." Arnold was surprised. Not that the man knew who he was. Arnold was used to being recognized, but that someone would know who he was at 2 a.m. in an empty arena while sweeping the floor. "I couldn't sleep," Arnold said. "I came back." The old man nodded like this made perfect sense. He picked up his broom and continued sweeping. "You know," the old man said without looking up, "I have been cleaning this arena for 30 years. 30 years. I have seen many champions, many victories, many celebrations." Arnold listened. "I remember when you first competed here." The old man continued. "You were hungry then. Your eyes were different. You wanted it so badly. I could see it. The hunger was visible." Arnold didn't respond. He just listened. "But now," the old man said, pausing his sweeping, "now I see something different. Now I see a man who has won everything, and who is sitting alone in the stands in the middle of the night instead of celebrating." The old man resumed sweeping. "Why?" Arnold asked. The old man thought about it for a moment. "That is what I am wondering," the old man said. "Why are you here?" Arnold didn't have a good answer. The old man continued sweeping. The rhythmic sound of the broom against the floor was the only noise in the silent arena. "You want to know something?" the old man said after a while. "I have cleaned this arena for 30 years. I have swept the floors after 1,000 events. And you know what I have learned?" Arnold waited. "The arena is the same whether it's full or empty," the old man said. "The stage is the same. The lights are the same. The victory is the same. But the feeling is different. When the crowd is here, the victory feels important. When the crowd is gone, the victory feels small." The old man stopped sweeping and looked up at Arnold. "That is the trick, you know," the old man said. "The trick is to understand that the importance of the victory does not come from the crowd. It comes from inside you, from what it means to you, from why you did it." Arnold sat in the silence of that statement. "I have a son," the old man said, resuming his sweeping. "He is 40 years old now. He is not famous. He is not a champion. He works in a factory, makes cars. Very ordinary man. But I am more proud of him than I am impressed by any champion I have ever seen in this arena." "Why?" Arnold asked. "Because he does his work with integrity," the old man said. "He does it for his family. He does it because it matters to him and to the people he loves. Not because there is a crowd watching. Not because there is a trophy waiting. He does it because the work itself is meaningful to him." The old man swept in silence for a while. "And when he goes home at night," the old man continued, "he is at peace. He does not need to come back to an empty arena at 2 a.m. to understand if his work matters. He already knows, because the people who love him tell him every single day. Arnold felt something shift inside him. "You have won many times," the old man said, still sweeping. "But I wonder, have you won for yourself, or have you won for the crowd?" Arnold didn't answer, because the old man said, "If you won for the crowd, then yes, when the crowd is gone, the victory feels empty. But if you won for yourself, if you won because the victory means something to you, then the crowd should not matter. The empty arena should not matter. The trophy should not be the thing that validates your work." The old man swept toward the center of the arena, toward the stage where Arnold had stood hours ago. "I have been cleaning up after champions for 30 years, the old man said, "and I have noticed something. The real champions, the ones who last, the ones who come back, the ones who keep winning, they are not the ones who need the crowd. They are the ones who need the work. They are the ones who would come back and do it all again even if no one was watching." Arnold stood up and walked down from the stands. He descended to the arena floor. The old man watched him approach. "Thank you," Arnold said. "For what?" the old man asked. "For asking the right question," Arnold said. The old man smiled. "That is something I learned from sweeping this arena for 30 years. You asked the right questions, and the answers revealed themselves." They stood in silence for a moment. "What is your name?" Arnold asked. "Joseph," the old man said. "I am Joseph." "Joseph," Arnold said, "you are a wise man." Joseph laughed. "I am just a cleaner. I sweep the floors. But I have learned a lot from watching people celebrate and then go home and sleep. In the celebration, everyone thinks they know what matters. But the morning after, when the celebration is gone, that is when people really know what matters." Arnold looked around the empty arena. "And what matters?" Arnold asked. "That depends on who you are," Joseph said. "For some people, the victory is enough. The trophy is enough. The celebration is enough. But for someone like you, someone who came back to an empty arena at 2 a.m., I think you are learning that the victory is not enough. The trophy is not enough. You need something more. You need to know that the work meant something, that the struggle meant something, that the victory meant something not because thousands of people watched, but because it meant something to you." Arnold nodded slowly. "My son," Joseph said, "he will never win a championship. He will never have thousands of people cheering for him. But every single day, he knows his work matters, because his family depends on him, because he does his job well, because he has integrity. That is his championship, not the trophy, the knowing that his work matters." Arnold understood then why he had come back to the arena at 2 a.m. He wasn't looking for the victory. He had already won. He was looking for proof that the victory meant something, that it mattered beyond the moment, beyond the celebration, beyond the crowd. But the arena couldn't give him that proof. The trophy couldn't give him that proof. Only his own understanding could give him that proof. And understanding meant asking himself, why did you do this? For the crowd or for yourself? The answer, if he was honest, was that he had been doing it for crowd, for the validation, for the proof that he was worth something. But in an empty arena, with no crowd, no applause, no validation coming from outside, the victory felt incomplete because he had built his championship on the foundation of external validation. And without the external validation, the championship felt hollow. Joseph continued sweeping. Arnold helped him. They swept the arena together in silence. And in the silence, Arnold understood something fundamental. The championship belonged to the people who watched it. The victory was shared with the crowd. The trophy was celebrated by thousands. But the meaning, the real meaning, that could only come from within. And if the meaning came only from within, then the championship should feel the same whether the arena was full or empty. But it didn't. For Arnold, it didn't feel the same. And that meant Arnold had won for the wrong reasons. When they finished sweeping, Joseph put his hand on Arnold's shoulder. "Come back tomorrow," Joseph said. "Come back and ask yourself one question. If no one was watching, if there was no crowd, if there was no trophy, if there was no celebration, would you still want to compete? Would you still want to win? Would it still matter? And if the answer is no," Arnold asked, "then you know you have been winning for the wrong reasons." Joseph said, And you will need to decide if you want to keep doing this, or if you want to find something that matters even when no one is watching. Joseph left Arnold alone in the arena. Arnold stood on the stage where he had stood hours ago, where thousands of people had cheered, where he had been celebrated as a champion. But in the silence, in the empty stands, in the absence of all external validation, Arnold felt something he had never felt before. He felt the question that Joseph had posed. Would he still want this if no one was watching? The answer took him all night to find. And when he finally found it, it changed everything. Because Arnold realized that the real championship, the real victory, was not about winning in front of thousands. It was about being able to look yourself in the mirror and know that you did it for the right reasons, that you did it because it mattered to you, that you would do it again, even if no one was watching. That is a championship that cannot be taken away. That is a victory that lasts forever. And Arnold had to come back to an empty arena at 2 a.m. and meet an old janitor to understand that. But once he understood it, he never forgot. And every time he won after that, every trophy, every victory, every championship, he remembered the empty stands. And he asked himself, is this for the crowd or is this for me? And only when the answer was for me did the victory feel complete. That was what Joseph taught him. That was the real championship. Not the trophy, not the crowd, but the knowledge that you did it for yourself. And that would be enough, even if the stands were empty.